Hey, Jim.
Hello.
All right, Jim Furyk, even par 71. Jim, kind of a roller coaster round. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, I think the 4 bogeys, 4 birdies. I don't know how you're going to escape today with the weather and the golf course and some of the pin locations without making some bogeys. So, was able to make 4 birdies and kind of cover those up. One careless one I think was the 3-putt at 16 where I'd hit the first putt way too hard. I did that a couple times on that first side on the back 9 where I had some long putts and I blew them past the hole pretty far. So it took me a little while to get comfortable with the speed and the change of the greens with the rain. But I putted beautifully today and obviously I struggled a little down the stretch. I hit a terrible drive off of 8 and then hit a fat iron in the 9. And where I actually didn't drive. I drove the ball really well on my first side, and I didn't drive the ball very well on the front on my second side. And playing out of the rough, I actually did a pretty damn good job to get it in at 1 over there. So the save on the last kind of puts a smile on my face, even though it was a disappointing. It's disappointing to make bogey, but could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, and how tough were the conditions, especially earlier in your round?
Yeah, the first 5-6 holes were brutal. I think first 6 holes kind of started to let up on 16, our 7th hole, and then it stopped raining for 17, 18, and I thought we were kind of home free, and then it just slowly picked up again on that back 9, so our second side. Just tough. I mean, tough to kind of hold on to the club, keep everything dry. We went out with 3 towels, and those were pretty much drenched through about 7 holes, so just trying to keep things dry, hold on to the club, and because the rough is so long and thick, when it's wet, it was not playable in a lot of spots. So, it's tough to get the ball in the fairway because of the conditions. But if you didn't, you were going to struggle. So it was a battle, and felt good about some good saves today. And it probably wasn't my best round, but to get it in at 70 in those conditions never hurts you in a U.S. Open style. So we'll see what the weather does this afternoon. If it lays down, I'd expect maybe some decent scoring, but even par won't kill me.
Start over here to your left.
Does the weather at all change the plan for even Friday or Saturday based on the conditions?
I think we'll have to come out. I mean, we're going to be in the afternoon tomorrow, so I didn't see a lot of wind in the forecast. See if some sunshine maybe can dry it up, but I'm guessing that the greens are still going to be receptive again tomorrow. We went from relatively firm greens in practice rounds to like the last shot I hit in the 9 from the drop area. I'm thinking about not spinning it, if that makes sense. Like trying to take some spin off of it, grab a club where I don't have to hit it that hard. So yeah, kind of totally different mentality. I think it helped though. There was a couple really tough pin placements today, and then having the greens maybe a little softer where you could maybe throw it behind it and bring it back, or hit something a little more dead hand and stop it near the pins. It definitely helped. It's guy that's playing well and controlling his golf ball, the receptive greens are going to be better for scoring.
We'll go over to your right.
Jim, when you're this close to home, I don't know if you saw it, but there are guys with Furyk Fanatic shirts on.
Yeah.
What's it like to have that support here at such a big event?
A lot of fun. Those guys have traveled to events around the PGA Tour in the past, so always in the powder blue and a lot of fun. Coming back to this event as the defending champion, and then also being in my home state and kind of eastern PA, where not far from where I grew up, as you said, is really kind of a cool feeling. And I feel bad that this area has kind of anticipated this event probably for a couple of years now, and then the first day we get, it's pouring down rain. So couldn't hear a lot of claps out there because everyone was holding onto their umbrella, right? But I heard some cheers, and I expect I thought the crowd was really quite good considering the weather. I was really impressed with the turnout, and you figure out through the rest of the week with the weather getting better, it should be great.
What does Mannheim mean to you? Just that hometown. I feel like people who grew up there, it's so special to them.
Yeah, I think it was a great place to grow up and great memories. And I think for me, it's usually when you think of places, I never really get attached to houses or cars or structures. It's the people. So I realize it's not middle America, but I feel kind of good, wholesome middle America, good folks. I still have a lot of great friends that I keep in touch with from Lancaster, and you know, I kind of sought some warmer weather, we'll say, and I love where I live now, but I'll always be from Lancaster.
Not a bad idea.
We'll stay over there, Mike.
Yeah, Jim. On 8, it was that like U.S. Open thing from the '70s where you drive it in the rough and you got to wedge it out.
Yeah.
How many times did you have to do that? And also, what'd you hit on 18? What was I
hit a 4-iron. It was a 4 or 5-iron. I hit 4-iron, just trying to hit it smooth and just laid the side over it. Got quick and hit it real fat. I knew when I hit it, it wasn't covering that creek. And then tried to change my mindset into how can I get out of there with a bogey.
wedging it out.
I had to wedge out probably. I got lucky on 2 and 5 where I could kind of chop a wood out and get it up. Really knew I wasn't going to get it on the green, but I could get it up near the green. Yeah. On 15, I hit one literally that far in the rough. It wasn't that far in the rough, and I moved it maybe 30 yards on the second shot,
50,
just
okay.
on a little short hole.
Yeah.
So I had to hit my third shot with a wedge up there instead of my second. I probably laid up like that. I did it on 8, did it on 15. Got some good opportunities at 2 and 5. On the backside, I missed one other fairway. Where was it? I missed 18, but I hit in the fairway bunker, so I was okay there. And I could knock it on the green from there. So fairway bunker is way better than the rough right now, especially in the rain.
We'll go over here to your left.
Jim, I wanted to ask you, playing the U.S. Open last week and then this week, a little bit shorter, maybe, shorter irons going into it, not much, but the difference, did it help you prepare as you're playing this course to go at it last week to come to this week? What are the advantages, I guess, that you bring into this week?
Yeah, I think you see difficult conditions, heavy rough. Everyone talked about the severity of the greens at Brookline, and I kind of forgot about that from '99. I didn't remember how severe they were. These greens aren't giving up anything to Brookline as far as severity, and they may be even more severe, to be honest with you. But it's really the distance and the clubs that I'm hitting into the greens. It's the significance. One thing about Brookline is they had 5 holes that were close to 500 yards long. We'll say 485 to 510 in par 4s. But the shorter or the mid-length, or we'll call the 420s, you couldn't hit driver. A lot of times you couldn't even hit 3-wood. So you were laying it back 240 and you're leaving yourself 180. And here you can hit more drives. You can get the ball out there a little bit farther. And when you get a 420, 430 yard hole, you can attack a little bit with from 150 rather than from 180, 190. So, I think in one sense, these are the 3rd and 4th events of 4 in a row, and so I was a little nervous about playing that much and being tired when I got here. But I kind of knew that was coming. I tried to manage it along the last 4 weeks, and I wanted to play. I wanted to get my game in shape as well. So, but playing the U.S. Open last week and kind of testing myself and playing a good round. I mean, I needed to play really well on Friday and shot 70 and felt like I was going to make the cut, and so it's a little boost of confidence, and I needed that, I think, coming in here.
I just wanted to ask you quickly, you mentioned the gallery. It wasn't a wild gallery, but were there anybody specifically, not to mention their names, but that that you've reconnected with, that reached out to you, that said, I can't wait to see you at Saucon Valley, maybe a face you hadn't seen in 15, 20 years or so?
Not that long, no. Most of the folks that called and kind of asked for tickets and that I've seen, I've kept in touch with. Actually, the guy in the scoring tent over there I played high school golf with, Kirby Martin, so I hadn't seen him in about over 20 years, so that was kind of fun.
Thanks.
All right, great. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Who was the township guy, Jim?